That bombshell $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe? It's been suddenly dismissed. But if you think this story is over, you've got it all wrong. We're going to get into the confidential settlement and the specific legal moves that made this whole career-threatening case just disappear. What really went down behind closed doors? And how does a case with allegations this explosive simply vanish? Stick around, because we're getting into the legal strategy that made it all happen. Hey, welcome back. Today, we're talking about a story that has kept the sports and entertainment worlds glued to their screens. The huge $50 million lawsuit against NFL Hall of Famer and media powerhouse Shannon Sharpe is officially over as of this week. But the way it ended is leaving a lot of us with more questions than answers. It didn't go to a jury, there was no public trial, no verdict. It was just dismissed. But what does that even mean? We're going to look at the initial allegations, Sharpe's fiery response, and the legal phrase that's at the center of it all, dismissed with prejudice. We'll explore why this ending, which feels so sudden, is actually a pretty common and calculated play in these high-profile legal fights. To really get how big of a deal this dismissal is, we have to rewind to April 2025, when this whole thing started. A civil lawsuit was filed in Clark County, Nevada, by a woman named only as Jane Doe in the court papers. The allegations were serious and pointed right at Shannon Sharpe, accusing him of sexual assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. The price tag on the damages sought was a jaw-dropping $50 million. From the second these allegations went public, Shannon Sharpe and his legal team came out swinging. They didn't just deny it, they pushed back hard, painting the whole lawsuit as a classic extortion attempt. Sharpe went on the record, calling it a shakedown. One of his attorneys, Lanny J. Davis, put out a strong statement calling the lawsuit a blatant and cynical attempt to shake down Mr. Sharpe for millions of dollars. He said the complaint was full of lies, distortions, and misrepresentations, and that they wouldn't give in to what they saw as blackmail. And then, just as quickly as the whole thing blew up, it was over. On July 18, 2025, the news dropped that the lawsuit was resolved. No big courtroom drama, no jury, nothing. The case was dismissed. The announcement actually came from the plaintiff's own attorney, Tony Busby, who posted a statement on social media. He announced that after protracted and respectful negotiations, both sides had reached a mutually agreed upon resolution. So, what on earth does dismissed with prejudice actually mean? It's not just boring legal speak, it's the whole key to this story. When a case gets dismissed by a court, it can happen two ways: without prejudice or with prejudice. All right, we're about to get into the most interesting part, that confidential settlement and the strategy behind it. If you're getting some value out of this breakdown and want more deep dives that go past the headlines, do me a solid and hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. It really helps the channel bring you the real story behind these big cases. So, Tony Busby's statement confirmed a mutually agreed upon resolution was reached. That resolution is the settlement. But, as is almost always the case in these high-profile situations, the terms are completely confidential. This means we'll probably never know the exact dollar amount, if any, that was paid. We won't know if there were other conditions or promises made in the deal. This brings us to the legal loophole I mentioned earlier. It's not really a sneaky loophole, but more of a strategic path the law gives people to solve things without a public trial. The decision to settle is all about managing risk. So, to sum it all up, the explosive $50 million lawsuit against Shannon Sharpe is done. It ended not with a bang, but with a quiet, carefully negotiated settlement. The very serious allegations of sexual assault were met with an aggressive denial from Sharpe, who called the whole thing a shakedown. In the end, both sides picked certainty over the chaos of a public trial and made a confidential deal. That deal led to a dismissal with prejudice, which is a legally final ending to the case, making sure these specific claims can never be brought up again.